Hello, and welcome to Below the Hospital. I'm your host, Garland-Rhea Grisby Sr., Sterile Processing Manager at Sutter Health, CPMC. In this podcast, I ask what some people might call hard questions, but what I think are informative questions about the sterile processing profession. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about something that has been on the horizon in healthcare for a while. We've heard and probably seen demos at conferences and maybe in our own facility. And that topic is AI technology in healthcare. That being said, I want to take this topic and discuss with an individual that I've known for quite a while. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Salmaan Hameed. Salmaan is the founder of BH2 Innovations. At BH2, he brings his substantial experience in the field of artificial intelligence to the table. Prior to founding BH2, he worked at organizations including Avantis Medical Systems, Stryker, and Varian. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Garland.
So let's just jump right in here. In your time in the medical device industry, right, you spend time talking to SPD professionals and managers. Now, what issues do they or did they tell you about?
Garland, the most common issue is the workload pressure, staffing shortage, and increase in a device complexity. Especially in the cannulated devices and the power tools, it's tough to find out when they are clean and how do we maintain it. So on top of it, it's difficult to provide the condition over time. So as the devices are used, there is already a variability, and now you have no idea what the condition of the device is. So that's the problem that we hear.
Yes, I can agree. I definitely can agree. So that being said, right, being at some conferences and seeing AI being displayed or demoed, a lot of folks is asking, is AI going to take SPD jobs?
No, Garland, no, SPD is not going to take, the AI is not going to take the SPD jobs. I get this question asked quite often, but there are two parts to it. SPD is always considered as a judgment call, accountability, and hands-on expertise, where AI is considered to be taking care of the repetitive task or the task which needs a support or a pattern recognition or building a documentation. So the AI does this job. So when you combine the professional expertise of SPD and with AI, you get the no variability and you can reduce the work fatigue a lot.
So it sounds like SPD techs and AI need each other then.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. So can you tell me about unintended consequences of new camera and borescope technology and how these have resulted in further technological innovations related to SPD?
It's a paradox. The new cameras are coming in, they are higher definition. When they start seeing more, that means you're going to have to react to more things. That means there's a more confusion about what the status of the scope is, unless and until you have a structured data. So structured data with the pattern recognition, with the AI, can help you even with the newer cameras with the higher definitions, and you tend to find more biofilms and things where the decision support is always there with artificial intelligence.
Aha. So you talked about data, right? Now
Yeah.
we know data is definitely important, regardless of what that data is, whether it's what's coming in, what's going out, and what we're actually looking at. So speaking of this data, what does big data have to offer SPD professionals? Like, what does it have to offer me and my staff?
So big data turns individual observations into trends. So now you have a trend of, is this device bad, cost me more, or what are the most common breakage point in there? And you can also find out uh, 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 repeat issues and getting your first pass having more cleaning issues resolved. So when you have a data there, on Tuesdays this is not getting clean done, or Thursdays is not getting done this way. So now you have a data and observation with a big data. Decision is based on patterns. When the decision is based on the patterns, you don't have to come from the memory or anecdotally say that, oh, this device is clean, but there's a record to it saying that this device is clean.
Okay. So, in essence, well, just to cover it over one more, right? What about this big data? What can this tell hospital management or leadership or senior leaders?
That's a great question, Garland. When you think about SPD and a big and a data coming out of SPD is always considered as a black box. Now, if you give somebody provides you visibility into risk, what it means is when you're looking into what are your cost drivers, what are your efficiencies, and uh, and if the equipment is broken, is because of my process, because of my device design, or because of its normal usage. So now you can classify those things. So the big data is opening up your black box to the hospital management, and now they can see suddenly SPD was a cost center. Now it becomes like a value engine for the department.
Now, I appreciated that illustration about the black box, right? Because we know what happens there, right? We know it tells the story that was unspoken, right? And right now, many people, if they're not already using AI technology in their processes, um, we don't know, right? We don't know why it broke. We don't know how long it took in use for it to break. We don't know if it was an out of box failure, right? So this data truly is important to actually tell the story, and that was a good one. Black box, that was good. I appreciated that one. So, how can big data and AI enabled platforms improve patient safety? Right. So let's touch on the safety, the patient safety aspect of it.
If you improve consistency, that means your early detection of device going damaged can be detected, better traceability, and reduce the variability. When you do those things, that means you are lowering the chance of a compromised device showing up on a patient procedure. So when you are not having a compromised device on a patient procedure, that means you are taking care of the patient safety. But if you think about it, preventing the repeat issues are are the biggest cause. Rather than preventing the big issues, you are getting insights into the occurrence of the big issues. Like a scope is getting inner working channel is getting damaged, or your handheld power instruments are not getting cleaned. So all that thing helpful for the patient safety at the end of the day.
So, listening to it, right, sounds expensive, right? So, when we get into, okay, yes, this technology is great, we need it. What about facility operating cost?
Great question again, Garland. The cost is reduced when you are having a fewer major repairs, less rework, and improve the overall instrument availability to the doctors. And at the end of the day, when you do that, you're 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 gonna build in efficiency in your labor. So all the time that you're putting in, if that is standardized, you're with the data with artificial intelligence. Now you're gonna build efficient uh, SPD department. So savings usually comes from preventing the problem rather than reacting to those problems. So if something is happening, you would rather prevent it ahead of time. It's again, you should be uh, thinking about that from that point of view.
Yeah, I always talk to folks about being reactive. It's too late at that point. right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we keep
Yeah,
saying.
when we react, it's already too late. The event has happened, and now we have to pick up the pieces, and now we have to go back, and now we have to rush and do things that we could have put into place before. So, for those that are listening, right, take a look into this aspect of our world and our profession. Help individuals to make it make sense, right? So that they can understand and see the value of what it is. And it's not just, oh, a cost. It's not just a cost, because it's going to cost more if an event happens, especially if we've talked about it and we've done nothing about it. And then the event happened and now we react. So
Exactly.
thank you for bringing that out. So, do you have any words for SPD staff as our profession change and these new tools and platforms increasingly become part of our day-to-day work? Do you have any additional words for us?
Yeah, as we move forward, SPD is entering into new era of sterilization and processing. So the future of the SPD values the skills, evidence, and continuous improvement. So if you think about it, and you can see that if you are doing all that, that means skills are valued with the combination of technology. Now you're removing the variability from our company. When we think about it, we see SPD is a major gravity in the hospital. What it means is that all the profit centers are revolving around this. Profit centers like a surgical suites, endo suites are all revolving around SPD. So why not make your core less variable, more accountability, and you have a defensible situation in that.
Well, that was great. That was good information. A lot packed in this short period of time that we had to chat. I know there's more that in depth that you can go, but I
Yes.
know for a fact because I've sat down with you and we've and we've discussed this at length on many occasions. And to get the full grasp of it, one would have to sit and see and try it. And it's amazing technology, right? Especially being in the field for 20 some odd years, and seeing what's happened and what's changed in the field, even just recently. It's amazing. And it's some things, it's kind of scary too, because you look back like, oh my goodness, well, what didn't we find 25 years ago? When we were processing certain devices that are still being processed today. So yeah, thank you for that input. So, well, I just wanted to thank you, Salmaan, for joining us, taking the time today. I know you're super busy and trying to make our schedules connect, but we definitely appreciate it, and we will definitely have you back on the show at some point so we can revisit this topic and we can see where we've gone as far as AI technology. So, as usual, folks, I hope this episode has been useful. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. If you want to support the podcast, you can find us at Below the Hospital on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Amy Array. Until then, see you when I see you.